Okay, I still have questions 13, 14, 15, and 16 to answer in relation to this graph. Question number 13 is asking me to find g of 0. So let's go up to the graph. G of 0. 0 is an x value. When I stand on the x-axis at 0 and I look up, I don't see anything. There's no graph up. But when I look down, I see the number -1, and that nails my answer. G of 0 equals -1. Because what it's telling me is, when I put in a 0, when my x value is 0, if I look down to the graph, to get y, you either have to look up or down. If I'm standing at 0, I have to look down, and where do I touch the graph? At -1. Okay. It wants to know what g of 4 is. Okay? G of 4. Well, let's come up to the graph. 1, 2, 3, 4 is an x value. When I stand on 4, I have to look up to see the graph. And when I look up, I'm standing right there, and my y value is at the level of 1. So g of 4 is equal to 1. All right, next question. Is g of 1 positive or negative? Is g of 1 positive or negative? Well, g of 1, let's look. Here's 1. This is an x value of 1. If I look up, I don't see anything, but if I look down, I see the graph. Well, when I'm looking down, my y value down here is a negative number. So my answer is negative. And let's see. For what values of x does g of x equal 2? Okay? In other words, remember what g of x means y. Y is 2. If y is 2, they want to know what x values cause that to happen. So the best way to do that is to go to the graph and draw a line across the graph at y is 2. Doing the best I can here, freehand, there we go. This is the line y equals 2. Now that line touches my graph 3 times. Once, twice, 3 times. So what I do is I look directly down to the x-axis from where that graph touches my line. And there are 3 x values where it touches. Okay? So it touched here. When I look down at x, x looks like it's going to be what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is one answer. When I look down here, it looks like x is going to be -2. And when I look down here, it looks like x is going to be -4. So, x is 5, x is -2, x is -4. So the way to approach a problem like that, when it says what x values causes g of x to equal 2, draw the line at y equals 2. That touches the graph 1, 2, 3 times. You don't worry about it touching the asymptote, because the asymptote's not part of the graph. And at every value that it touches the graph, you read directly down to your x-axis, and that is the x value where y was 2. So there are 3 answers to that problem. And we're done with questions 9 through 16.